Hi, it's me again. Nice to see you, and even though I can't see you, the vibration is still here. So on a subtle level, on a subtle dimension of reality, we are co-creating this space in the now moment. And then you will experience sitting with me in a different time in this horizontal plane. So we are here at the same time, and then we might be also coinciding with this transmission in different individual timings, if that makes sense. It's kind of paradoxical and funny. Before we go into exploration of 0 point and practicing, I want to tell you that there are few different approaches, or maybe even indefinite approaches, to how you are going to practice the 0 point. For example, you could be just practicing meditation, which would be allowing your body to remain here as a puppet resting. So you park the body, you go into 0 point, and you go outside of this reality, and then experience perhaps first the emptiness, and then maybe different realms, if that is something that is interesting to you. There is also the immersion of that 0 point self-perspective with the wholeness and totality of this grounded, embodied experience right here. Now, these are very different. In a sense, they can go together, and you may feel like developing one or the other approach, and the other will develop in a parallel fashion. How would it look like for us to practice the embodied experience of 0 point? We need to find grounding in that 0 point, and then, because we are here and still experience this space and the vibrational energy of this construct, we are on a very baseline, presenting then with the screen or the space, which is either empty of vibration, complete stillness, yin, or absolutely populated by vibration, yang, fullness. In physics, also black matter and electricity. Many names, perhaps. How to experience yin and yang? Basically, you can begin by just imagining that the space around you is completely dark and still, or buzzing white light. And actually invoking these two primordial states of being, because they are your awareness emanated as space, and then either flipped one side, complete stillness, dark energy potential, or expressed as light, expressed potential, oneness, one infinite frequency of light. When you think about them, you're harmonizing with them. They seem to be two because, hey, they're the opposite. They're actually one, only seen from different sides. So, on top of that, either infinite whiteness or infinite blackness of space stillness and vibration in combination, because you have to have vibrational amplitudes, right? So white is unified expression of the I am, and black is nullified expression of the I am. They both are the I am, and then combining yin and yang, you get the amplitudes of every tiny vibrational string in this screen or in this space. Hope that makes a little bit of sense. These vibrations then build up to this complexity where I have hair on my face and I can touch, and there are different loomings, different objects, and all kind of stuff. The more you synchronize yourself with this level of your being that is very baseline, the faster you can get to change on every next level of frequency. So that could be universal level, spiritual level, mental level, emotional level, physical level of reality, are all sourced down from these two primordial states of being, the yin and the yang. So when we are embodied in this reality and we start to move with the yin and the yang, you can also imagine that you have a very straight line cutting your body in two, because see, these are like the mirroring halves of your body, left and right. So we also know these as masculine and feminine, but because this kind of reminds us of genders, and gender have different roles that are prescribed inside of a society, we want to maybe understand that I can be masculine energy, which is emitting, or the light, or yin on the right side of my body, and then receiving energy on the left side of my body, create this type of flow. They're spinning. Now I could come into emanation of yin in front of my body, so that I am light. But then behind me would be the opposite of that. And when I am expressing and talking in this way, I'm coming into this expression, expressive energy. Light then comes through all of your little tubes, your little nadis, your little cells, and emanates from you when you're expressing yourself. When you are receiving, listening to someone, then you will rotate that and you will become still, feminine, humble, receptive, allowing the reception of that force that is emanated from somebody who's expressing themselves towards you. So the feminine is the receiver and the listener, and the masculine is the giver, the one that is expressing. Now, of course, we are on a very baseline of reality, both of these, and the consciousness or the zero-point observer that emanates the space with this white and black is called the Trinity. You may know it as the Holy Trinity, or also it's called the monad. Of course, three are one, because both the white and the black and the self are not actually separate. Now, the white and the black are separate in appearance. And as I've said, you can experience the self also without space. So without the light and without the black energy, potential, dark energy, dark matter, whatever it's called. Usually there's nothing to do there. There's nothing to experience there, but it's just one of your primordial states. Experiencing these primordial states is in human nomenclature called usually samadhi. So if you would practice meditation, integration of that practice would be to experience yourself in the samadhi state. But then when you get to that, there's nothing to do there because nothing yet exists in that perspective, so no games to play. But you could use that as a baseline to be present in different reality constructs, because the zero-point observer self is not immersed in this or any other reality construct yet, so we can kind of bring in the multiverse console, and there are many places to go. Once you haven't trained yourself to be in this formless state of being, then you can create universes from that, or go into different universes and create different constructs, and you can create portals between realities or whatnot. There's infinite application. So that observer self and having the pure experience of the formless self, that is also called samadhi. I don't know which, there are different type of samadhi, I don't know the nomenclature, but that's one type of samadhi with like just a formless being. That is then your baseline, but actually you're only returning to a very primordial state of being that is already there, that is already you. Now, if you would try to immerse that state with this construct, this dimension, it would probably feel like shifting into becoming one with your timeline. So the surroundings around you and your experience of first person and body vessel become merged. It's like a state of trance, a little bit different from our everyday ordinary human experiencing, where you go into a higher frequency and you're in the superconscious. Now you may be running, jumping, flying, doing all kind of things, and the exterior and your body would feel like they're all immersed in this screen of consciousness. Now there are many realms that from our human perspective we call the superconscious, where basically you're not even perceiving or experiencing this construct of duality, that is, my body is an object that is separate from the outside world or other objects in the world. As I've said, this is because we can collide here before we learn how to occupy every frequency in the screen and be in control of all of these frequencies in a cohesive manner. So we have to master them bandwidth by bandwidth. If you would go into type of practice that is then leaning into the expression of yang or stillness, but doing that embodied while awake in this human experience, it would probably look like a little bit of either something that we call Tai Chi or a tantric dancing. Because you are understanding that there is always, not on this gross level where you're perceiving my body, on a superimposed level that coexists with this, there is the screen on which there are these primordial forces moving everything, and that gives you a really nice and smooth and kind of flirtatious and sexy baseline to align and harmonize your physical, your emotional, your mental, and your higher spiritual bodies, all the way into the monad or the top or the bottom or the baseline of this. And all of these frequencies are, or dimensions, they are superimposed. They're not over there. I mean, they are occupying this space, and so you can say they're here or here or here, but also they kind of cut through one another. They're all superimposed. So when you go into micro, you would find the point. In that point, you would find infinity. So linearity or space is a construct, but all of these dimensions that you're harmonizing through your little dancing of yin and the yang become like an orgasmic and subtle movements that you want to practice to get all of the layers of the cake in harmony. And then you can translate that into playing soccer, martial arts. Really, even any ultimate sportist like Michael Jordan was penetrating to that level of reality. Therefore, almost exhibiting supernatural abilities like Air Jordan can fly, but moving the threshold of what was believed to be possible in the physical realm, because we actually can start to develop supernatural abilities or move the threshold of what we imagine to be real to accept that we can maybe even fly. And like walking on water or flying was not uncommon in many previous civilizations that happened on this plane. Alright, in conclusion, when you start to experience 0 point, it will automatically affect harmonization of all of your bodies, all the layers of the cake. As you rest in the 0 point, everything gets harmonized. Your muscles, your tissues, your bones, your marrow, your brain, your emotional body, your mental body, everything is defragmenting, harmonizing, healing automagically. So just doing meditation, it has great benefits. And then the more you are anchored into 0 point, the faster the reality shifts from whatever template, pattern, or mental belief you're projecting on that reality, so you can then even instantly quantum shift or be here in this body, fully embodied, and then just flip a slide in your mind and reality shifts right in front of you. Or flip a pattern that you're holding emotionally and then reality shifts in front of you. What is reflected to you and even other people in this room respond to you differently than just 1 minute ago or 1 second ago because you chose a different reality. And you will see that instant type of manifestation more and more, and then ultimately reality becomes fluid. It becomes really alive and not kind of like dense and fixed, but you can see even objects to shapeshift. So you're kind of then going in what is popularly called 5D, because you're not living in the world of density where you think objects are physical. You know they are mental projections, and you can influence the from the projector you can influence the slide, and that influences the projection. And that's just something that you do not need to even make effort about. It's just something that becomes a part of your nature. So then reality starts to be more animated and kind of shape-shifting and fluid.